My name is Rebecca and we are here on Behind the Buzz. Joining us today is Will from Harvest One. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. So tell me a little bit more about yourself and what you do exactly.
Yeah, so right now I'm Senior Vice President of Harvest One for Corporate and Public Affairs. I've come to this industry from a different place than most people do. I come to this industry through being involved in politics in Canada, and then got heavily involved in the legalization movement and worked with about 15 different cannabis companies over the last 6 or 7 years. So it doesn't sound like a long time to be in cannabis, but 6 or 7 years in the Canadian cannabis space sometimes feels like a long time. I left consulting and went to work for a brand and retail storefront company. We sold that to the world's largest cannabis company. Now I'm here at Harvest One and seeing what we can do with this company.
Oh, that's amazing. And so tell me a little bit about how you see cannabis kind of progressing in the next couple of months, maybe in the next year?
Yeah, well, I think, with cannabis, where you stand on this issue often dictates where you're sitting on this issue. So in Canada, I think the industry is going to evolve much differently than it is in the United States. And we hope that investors see those differences and the values and drawbacks of both. So for example, I can likely put branded products on shelves in the United States with CBD from hemp. In Canada, that exact same product is considered cannabis. So while I can sell it today, I have to sell it in regulated cannabis storefronts. It has to have plain packaging. There's a lot of restrictions on it. Then you flip over, at Harvest One, we have a pill that we sell in Europe. And that's already on 2,000 stores, the shelves of 2,000 stores. But it's classified as a food novelty, so I can't make health claims against it, even though we've done clinical trials on that exact same product that are published in peer-reviewed medical journals. So really, I see the way in which cannabis is going to evolve really depends on where you are. But it's often been said, if you're in the cannabis business, you're really in the politics business, because all of this comes down to what's the government of the day going to do? Are they supportive? Are they not? Do they view it as getting rid of the black market, or do they view it as controlling access, or do they view it as simply a product that people should be able to consume? So the industry is set to evolve quite considerably, depending on where you are in the world.
Definitely. And so for the differences between Canada and the United States, how do you see that changing? Do you see Canada progressing and then the US kind of following suit?
Well, yeah, there's benefits on both sides of the border, and that's why we actually have products on both sides of the border. We don't touch cannabis in the United States, but we do have non-cannabis CPG products that we sell in 30,000 storefronts across North America now. We obviously bought those products so that we can infuse them with cannabinoids when and where legal. But in Canada, we just got permission to sell extracts, vape pens, and concentrates. Like the whole industry just got permission 5 days ago. So while you've had in the United States many products like that, gummies and drinkables, for a long time, we just got permission to do that. In the US, topicals clearly going to be able to be put on shelves soon, according to the FDA. Ingestibles, much different. So my ingestible Dream Water with cannabis in it might be better off in Canada for now, as opposed to the United States.
Right. That makes sense. Okay, and so for investors, what would you recommend? Should they kind of
Obviously,
start
investing
now?
in Harvest One would be the best recommendation.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think there was a big period of time, particularly with Canadian companies. There was a big euphoria around legal cannabis. There's lots of investment dollars going to lots of different companies, some of whom are great and some of whom aren't. I think that hype is over. And I think what investors are looking for now are people who have proper business sense, bringing proper business intellect and executives to these companies to drive down costs, to drive up margins. And that's why we have what we have, which is cannabis products for sure, but we also have non-cannabis products that teach us supply chain, contract manufacturing, sales force management, that type of thing, and also protects us against what we see as a falling price of cannabis in the next number of years. If you're heavily reliant on cannabis at a certain price, as that price becomes commoditized, the value of your crops are going to go down. We have both cannabis and non-cannabis products to insulate us against that price compression, which we see happening in the next year to year and a half.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing all of this knowledge, and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Of course, and this has been Behind the Buzz.